How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and we're going to be talking about AMC and GME. We missed it yesterday. There were some other time-sensitive stocks that I wanted to talk about to make sure that I got to you guys, and I'm hoping you took advantage of that, of course. But we need to get back to these two stocks and see what they were doing in regards to their performance. So like I normally do, we're going to be doing a technical analysis on both of these stocks, and then we're going to be going over the catalyst that happened for AMC, which reflected in the stock price that we actually saw today. Let's get into the videos. All right, so we're going to be doing a technical analysis on GME. We're going to be taking a look what happened today, what was going on, and some things that we need to be aware of. So like many other stocks, we ended up having a gap down into the pre-market. And when we take a look at some support areas that we really want to pay attention to, we got to take a look here at around $265. So we could see this was actually a solid area of support to consider and take a look at. Ended up actually holding down this area of support all the way into the market open, as you can see here. Ended up getting down to a low here at the open, right around 930 to around 267, but again, still bouncing off that 265 support. And end up having a strong run here up to $295, so just shy of 300. So we can see this was a clear resistance area here. We're going to be calling this around 292, 293. So this is where we end up having a lot of selling that is going on. Especially it is a Friday. That's one thing to take into consideration. So there was no surprise at all that it didn't end up retesting 300. And there's definitely a strong possibility that it will be testing 300 next week. But we'll get into that afterwards. So if we take a look at the next resistance area that ended up actually occurring and didn't end up passing it, only came across it. And you see there's a skinny candle here. Was also 284. We can also just call this 285. So 285 was a clear area of resistance. So we have 295, we have 285, and now the next area of resistance going down further and didn't really end up passing this for the rest of the day either is around 280. So we get to see here it tested it, but not for too long. But 280 is definitely a clear area of resistance to pay attention to. So now we want to take a look at some of the support levels. So we saw a support level from here from 940. It was around 275 and we carried all the way over here. We can see we held this down. This was an area to pay attention to at a 275. And then the next support area that we could see here that was getting challenged was also around 272. And another area to pay attention to, and this was literally going in around 3 o'clock, going into the close, was around 270. And then when 270 ended up being broken, you can see here we're now testing on an area of support like around 265. And you know what the funny part about it is? Well, not the funny part, but why it's important, why we do these type of analysis is take a look at this. This was actually an area of support that we saw that was happening in the pre-market as well. And just take a look at the day before. Look, see, so this is no strange coincidence. I'll show you guys the day before again. So this is no strange coincidence at all. Okay, this is why we do these technical analysis to help you out so you understand whether you're doing a short term or you're going to be doing a swing trade. This 265 area is definitely an area to really pay attention to and keep inside your mind, okay? We've seen this area being used as support, and as you can see from the day before, this area being also an area of resistance. So paying attention to this area is really good. So what I'm going to be seeing right now, we're at 265. If we end up having a gap up on Monday, like I said, there's a very high chance of that actually happening. But if we end up seeing it, we could definitely see a gap up coming back into the 270s. If we end up having a gap down, then we'll definitely be testing in the 250s. So you want to be aware of that as well. As far as movements for next week, hey, GME could be very unpredictable, but as long as it's holding down these support levels, especially the 250 range, it will be revisiting 300s. It's not even a question about that, okay? Anyone who might be playing on GME, pay attention to these indicators here. So when you take a look at these indicators, we can see on the 21-day GME did a fairly good job all the way up until around 1055 following trend. but then ended up breaking it and actually just going underneath and just literally started testing the 200 day, which is something to pay attention to as well, because usually when you're looking at the charts and stuff, I love actually buying stocks off the 200 day, because that just means there was a pretty strong sell-off. As you can see by the RSI right here, it's in the 30s. So usually when you see these, like, you don't really want to hesitate at all. You just buy, because the chances of it recovering are fairly high, which is what you can see here. But just see how it keeps testing on that 200 day and making those moves back to the upside. So again, this is Friday. There was sell-offs, so I'm not too shocked about this or anything like that. But knowing and seeing how it broke under this area going into the close, this is why I said it's very, very important. If we have a gap up to get to 270, and if we have a gap down, it'll be to 250. But besides that, still bullish. I still see more of an upward trend for GME going forward. All right, so we're going to be doing a technical analysis on AMC. So like many other stocks, we ended up having a gap down, but we also get a good opportunity to see what is a solid area of support that was held down fairly well during the pre-market. So we can see here, we have some strong support here around this 985 range, which is actually good to see because it didn't end up breaking through it. And we already knew how important it was for AMC to actually be above $9 regardless of the fact. Because even when we go back out, even from when we did our last video, these were some areas to be taking into consideration, right? So we have $9.90. So it's just staying above even $9.50. But again, that $9 area, as long as it's above that, you could still remain bullish here. We take a look, the next area of support that we ended up holding down and getting to is $10, which is really, really good. So now if we take a look at the resistance area that we had going on inside the pre-market, it was around $10.23, or you can call that $10.25. So we end up having a strong sell here right at the beginning of open, which is to be expected. That is no surprise here where you set out on the channel. We see that we got to a high of $11.40. This is exactly what we love seeing from AMC, right? So one of the things we want to take a look at now is the support and as well as the resistance area. So this was a clear area of resistance here at this 1140. We can call it 1138, 39. And we were never able to actually get past this. So getting past this particular area can definitely indicate a strong move going towards 12. If we take a look now at the next resistance area that was fairly clear that was going on for the rest of the day from 10:55 and on is around $11.30. So that's another area to be aware of, because if we break that particular area, it's easy for us to get to 1140. Taking a look at the support now. So if we take a look at the support area, we can see this area of support here at $10.91 being respected fairly well, which is something that we cannot complain about. Even if we take a look at this particular area going forward, this kind of lasted up until close. Like I said, you see these little small green candles here, but we can still see that 1091 is an area of support. Now, as we get later on here, we could take a look, and it's literally holding down $11.18 into the after hours. Like I said, the stock is up 8.85% on the day. So I would love to see it hold down at the minimum $11.15 going into the close. Just seeing AMC finish above $11, this is really huge for AMC in regards to like a lot of the short interest that's in it and so forth. So again, I still see some more room for upside come next week. So we definitely want to see a gap up. If we see a gap up, we'd love to see a gap up into the 1130s, into the 1120 area. If we end up seeing a gap down, then we could see being tested in the $10.90 area. The next area after that, since it did have a strong move on the day and we need to take that into consideration, we want to see that it holds down 10, and if it doesn't hold down 10, then we'll be testing 985. So that would be the game plan, so you guys are aware and you know. And I almost forgot as well, I was about to sign off. We also got to take a look at the 21-day EMA. We can see that AMC does a fairly good job riding on trend, and even when it did break trend, recovered very quickly. And you can see it here, it's at $11.17. So like I said, it's very important to see AMC hold down this area, and we want to see coming next week this 1115 area being a solid area of support. All right, so we're going to be going over the catalyst today for AMC. So I love seeing a bearish outlook and also seeing a bullish outlook. Part of the reasons why I love using the Motley Fool. I know many of you don't like it, but like I said, it's good to see different perspectives and so forth. All right, so let's get into it. So why AMC Entertainment stock rose today? So what happened? AMC has had a volatile couple of months. The business itself has been raising money to weather what the company hopes is the last leg toward returning to theaters to normal operations. The stock has also fluctuated wildly as a favorite among Reddit Wall Street Bet users. Today's shares are up 9.7% as of 11:15 a.m. So what? So trading volatility has shown up in the stock's 30-day average daily trading volume, which has soared more than 600% since the start of 2021. And the buyers have been moving the share price higher recently, up 40% in just the past 5 trading days. That period included the company's fourth quarter and full year 2020 earnings report and business update. Now what? Perhaps most importantly, the company said that as of March 5th, 2021, 89.5% of its domestic theaters were open, along with 22% of its international locations. Theaters in important markets like New York City and San Francisco have reopened with limited seating capacities. The company has also had to raise additional capital to weather the extended pandemic-related theater closures. AMC has raised about $870 million, selling additional equity since the start of 2020, and a total of $2.2 billion between debt and equity since March 2020. AMC President and CEO Adam Aron said in a statement, "I am confident that the actions that we have taken have positioned us well to capitalize on pent-up demand for moviegoing as the rollout of vaccines accelerate." Investors seem to be in agreement, hoping the business can prosper in the not-too-distant future. So for my final thoughts, I'm very bullish on both of these stocks. And I know you're saying, Dre, you've been bullish on these stocks for a minute. And I still am. In regards to GME, GME is doing a fairly good job holding down support in the levels that we covered in the technical analysis. Just to give you a quick cue, that $265 area, and that main area of support around $250. Now, as far as for AMC, I'm really not surprised at all. We've talked about this on the channel for quite some time. When we get movie theater openings, and knowing that there's some news that came out recently in regards to LA opening up theaters, we already heard about New York opening up theaters. We're thinking about post-pandemic here. That was part of the action that we were seeing and what reflected in the stock today. A lot of people are bullish. A lot of people are just pent up and wanting to go to the movies. Hey, I'm a fan of going to the movies as well. So this is part of the reasons why we're seeing the movement in AMC. Another thing that we need to take in consideration as well, when you have a lot of volume and you have a lot of demand, we're going to see a lot of movements in price. That's just how the stock market works in general. So I just want you to be aware of that, and it's part of the reasons why I still maintain this bullish sentiment. Also, it's amazing to see that AMC, if it ends up finishing above $11, like I said, it could be very, very interesting in regards to how it's going to be moving to the upside, and also seeing it test 12 would be great to see as well, which I know it can do it because it's been there before. So just to kind of give you guys a conclusion as far as how I feel, it's still really bullish, but I also want to put in a disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor, and this isn't financial advice. So when you do invest, just know that you're doing it at your own risk.